Well, hello, folks, and welcome once again to Real Estate Talk. I'm your host, Ken Sax, along with our co host today, Tanya Tyler, real estate broker from Keller Williams, Spokane. Tanya, good morning.
Good morning.
And our guest, folks, I got to tell you, I am really excited today to have our guest with us, the mayor of Spokane, Mayor Nadine Woodward. Mayor, thank you so much for joining us today.
Absolutely. Thanks for inviting me on your show, your podcast.
You bet. You bet. Not that you're busy or anything. Um, so, so really, what we want to talk about, I mean, real estate. This is a real estate show, and when we talk about real estate, boy, the hot button lately has been inventory and lack of inventory. We just have a deep sellers market. Inventory is less than 2 months. In some areas, it's closer to 1 month. We're seeing
Yeah.
multiple offers. Buyers are having a tough time trying to get accepted on an offer. We just need more inventory. So, with that kind of opening, Mayor Woodward, what are they talking about? What is your team talking about down at City Hall, and what are some things and ideas you have around the topic of inventory?
Well, Ken, this is a big priority of mine. It was coming into office. Housing. We are in a housing crisis, and we were warned, 5 years ago that we would be in this position today if we didn't start doing something to increase our inventory and to get creative about construction and infill and all of those kinds of things. So here we are, and the crisis has even gotten worse during COVID because sales were kind of put on hold, but the demand was still there. Our inventory is low, and so one of the things that we're doing here at City Hall, even in the midst of our COVID recovery, is creating a new division within City Hall that is a community and economic development division, where our planning services and economic development are under one roof, so to speak. And so we can really concentrate on what that looks like: development, new construction, being creative. We also need to hire a new city planner, which is another priority of mine. And I'm really looking for someone who aligns with what I would like to see, and that is someone who is innovative and creative. We're landlocked within the city, but if we can find space where we can build the kinds of housing, and I'm talking about housing at all income levels. I think we need to get
Yes.
creative about people who are buying first time and what that looks like, and more density. I mean, we really need that in order to provide the inventory that we really have to have. And then density downtown, infill downtown. I think, right now, phase two of COVID, our downtown, we don't have the tens of thousands of people who are working downtown anymore or visiting downtown. When we get back up to, whatever normal is going to look like again, and if we can start getting more projects where people are living downtown, that is great for our vitality and for our city to thrive. I'm really excited about some of the projects that are coming on board. Larry Stone's project, the Falls Tower, with 3 towers and hundreds of new units there. So, yeah, we just need to be able to create a system that makes it easier for new construction, streamline permitting. Under COVID, one of the things we've been able to do is to do a lot of that online, which has really
Right.
expedited the process. So if we can continue doing that and get people used to doing those kinds of things online, even during COVID, we've been able to get our inspectors out on same day on job sites. So we're doing all that we can at the city level, even during this time, this kind of a stagnant time under COVID.
That makes sense.
Sure.
Mayor, let's
And
talk
I
about
guess,
sorry, you're talking about
go
this
ahead.
new division. What does that look like for the process? I mean, when do we look at having that maybe being accepted by city hall? Like, what does that look like for the city council?
So we're hoping to get that approved within the next couple of weeks through City
Okay.
Council. And we're going to have a couple more conversations about that in the community before we get to that point. So I'm hoping like within the 2 weeks, we'll get that through. And then we'll start looking for a city planner
Perfect.
and a division head as well for community and economic development.
So we can
And
definitely
somebody
say
with
that this will be probably in effect by hopefully by Q4. Is that what we're looking at? Up and running?
I would hope so. I hate to put yeah, I mean, even sooner if possible, but hopefully by then. Yeah.
Good. And this new division, it sounds like part of the purpose of this is, like you said, is going to streamline the process for builders to be able to get more inventory out on our market and give buyers more of a selection on property that they can actually purchase. And we streamline that process. Anything about regulatory issues or anything around that topic where maybe these builders have been hitting kind of roadblocks, but maybe it might be a little bit more palatable or easier for them to be incentivized to build or actually accomplish their projects. Anything around that?
Yeah, I don't have any specifics about that. That's something we're going to talk about when we get that division head in that position and we get that new planner in. Those are definitely the kinds of conversations that we need to have as a city. So absolutely.
Good. And when we
Mayor,
talk about it,
sorry.
when we
Go
talk
ahead,
about
Ken.
inventory and this new division, I always like to ask, what can our citizens, what can our community do for you and your team? Because we need to give back too. What can we do to help this not a fight, but the purpose? What can we do?
Well, that's a great question, Ken. I would actually, when we get this task force that I was talking about up and running, that was one of the first things I wanted to do when I came into office was to stand up a task force on housing with all the stakeholders involved. It kind of was shelved because of COVID, but now that we're in a pause moment right now in between phases of reopening our economy, would really like to get that task force back up and running because I want to hear from the community their ideas. And I think that's what the community can give back is just, some creative ways that we can increase inventory, make it easier for home builders to do what they want to do, and that is build homes. And then again, looking at ways where we can provide more opportunities for infill downtown and just get the kinds of housing that we need. And again, I think we need to be creative about what level of or what kinds of homes we're building. Not everybody has to have a 5-bedroom, 3-bath home on a double lot. We need to get more creative beyond that. So really looking forward to hearing from the community on what some of their ideas are.
Good. So you need input, collaboration. I love it.
Yep.
Tanya?
They had talked about, there was just some chatter, some talking about with some new builders, talking about taking a couple lots, some of the old abandoned homes on the east side, and just somehow making where you can make 6 townhomes that are 3 beds, 2 baths, that kind of stuff. And is that something that you were talking about, just some of the new, not two lots, big homes, making it more affordable for even a first-time home buyer to get into?
Absolutely. I think townhomes are a great idea. We've even seen a couple of those projects on the South Hill that have really been able to utilize a small space or a little bit of acreage. And I think getting to the point where we can go through the city and identify where some of those locations would be, I think would be really important.
And that would probably fall under the new division as well, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Perfect. And I want to say, go ahead. It's very exciting just to have you on because I know that a lot of people are talking about the crisis. I want to just give you a little facts from the Spokane Association of Realtors for Q2. And this was really kind of shocking as we were going through this. For Q2, for a house to be on the market to get to sold, you're looking at, in 2018, it was 33 days. In 2019 in Q2, it was 31 days. And we just got the numbers, Spokane Association of Realtors got them back for 2020, and it was 13 days for a house to sit on the market. So you can see in 1 year how we've gone from 0 to 500 during a pandemic even, where there is a crisis.
Well, and I've even heard of situations where some listers are lowballing the price and just allowing multiple offers dictate what the closing, price is going to be. That's how crazy it's become, and that's just tough. I mean, we're pricing so many people completely out of the market as these prices have increased, and we need to get to a point where it just starts settling down. It's I just don't know how we can maintain what we're seeing right now. So it'll be interesting to see. In fact, I was going to ask what you guys are hearing. So that's so a third of the time that would normally take. That's absolutely amazing. And even under COVID, during this time where we're seeing people wanting to flee bigger cities and looking for areas like Spokane where there's more elbow room, and now with people telecommuting in the last several months, and companies, businesses realizing that they don't have to spend a lot of money on commercial space, that people can almost live anywhere and still do their job. I think that influx into Spokane and into our region is only going to uptick because of COVID.
That's exactly right. And Tanya and I did a show a few weeks ago with an economist from University of Washington, and he was basically saying the same thing, that we are getting more and more folks moving to Spokane. It has magnified it because of COVID, because people are realizing, hey, I can work pretty darn efficiently from home. I don't have to be in Seattle or Los Angeles. And we have Amazon, and we have, some newer infrastructure here. And Realtor.com, Tanya and I were talking about some information from Realtor.com, 2018 and 2019. We Spokane, #1 for outside people looking to come into Spokane. #1 in the country.
Wow.
And
Wow.
you can, like I've done shows on here. I moved here from Southern California at the end of 2003, where you can sell a house for $700,000, buy a comparable house for $200,000, and maybe one or two investment properties. So it's a huge attraction for people to move here. And now with this COVID and the realization, we actually can live anywhere we want. It's just putting Spokane higher and higher up on that map. I don't really see a shift in demand coming. If anything, increase in demand. That only leaves us with supply.
Yeah.
Right.
Even more reason for us to be able to tackle this head on and be able to do what we need to do. And I'm just hoping that this new division that we're creating gets through the city council very quickly, so that we can start moving on this as fast as possible.
That's wonderful. I love that plan. Just to give you a little insight of what's happening as an agent, we're still in multiple offers up to 2 weeks ago. For 280, there was 11 offers. So it's almost like, unless you have pure cash, and we were up against 3 other cash offers, and we were cash, but we were up against 3 other cash offers in 11 offers. So,
Wow.
as an agent, I'm thinking, how can we be more creative? A couple of years ago, it was like shortening inspection time frame, shortening this. Those days are gone. Like, I'm literally at a brick wall going, how can I get my clients into a home? So
Yeah.
it's definitely, as of the end of July, we start to slow down. We're not seeing that slowdown at all.
Yeah, I totally agree. That's got to be tough for realtors. It's got to be tough for those. I mean, it's a seller's market. It's tough for the buyers out there. It's got to be so frustrating for so many of them. I mean, I work with people who are looking for homes right now, and sometimes you just have to back off and say, I need to take a month off because this whole process is killing me. It's really, really difficult. So I hear you.
Yeah.
Good. What are some other things you're excited about, Mayor Woodward, that you're working on over at City Hall?
Well, there's so much going on right now with just opening up our economy, waiting to see what it's going to take to phase 3, dealing with the increase in our COVID cases, but also keeping a number or a look on the other numbers too that are important, the hospitalizations and certainly our death rate. But I hear from a lot of businesses who are just struggling to make ends meet and are very fearful of a possible rollback. in our phases. So just trying to support the businesses and just be an ear for them, just to listen to them and understand their struggles. But also, we're looking at activating or reactivating, I would say, our Hacking Washington a campaign that former Mayor David Condon created, and look at what we can do to bring more businesses to Spokane. Because as we've talked, in addition to individuals who would want to move here because they're telecommuting and can live basically anywhere, there's in bigger cities that are struggling too because of all of this. And, making it easier for them to here, cost of living is far cheaper, cost of business in our city with utilities and real estate cheaper. So as well, trying to create some more, economic development opportunities for our region as we're struggling just to stay open.
Good.
It's wonderful, though. It's good. I love your focus. I mean, you've always been there for the people, and I love that you're still, you're there for the community, and I love that focus.
Well, I think listening is something that people don't realize how important it is for our electeds to listen to the community, to listen to concerns. Everybody seems to want for everything right away, or they want you to say something. Listening really is something that's important. It's something that I've been exercising the minute I came into office. And I think people really appreciate that. We're also dealing with our homeless issue in addition to, under COVID. And we put a moratorium on eviction so people don't lose their roof over their head, and creating another wave of homeless. We've been doing a lot to try to provide capacity, more capacity space, social distance, physically distance in our shelters, and keep COVID cases from going through our homeless population. I think the health district has done a really good job with that. Expanding what sheltering and rethinking about what sheltering looks like in our community, and offering people a way out of homelessness. Housing and homelessness are interconnected. And so that's another extremely important initiative of mine. And so we're creating a system within the city with our regional partners, with the county and with the valley, and with the private sector as well, as far as funding the operations of what we're creating, but creating a system where in addition to having just your emergency drop-in shelter night by night, which we do seasonally, and we have to, but finding a way that we can help people get the services that they need, whether that's mental health or addiction, caseworkers on site in a shelter operation. We call it bridge housing. You refer to that shelter, and then you're there 30, 60, or 90 days where you're actually being stabilized so that you can become a productive member of our community, help with maybe job training, help person, moving on. And for the first time, creating a system where we're providing a way out of homelessness, not just keeping people in shelters night by night. We're also looking at creating a young adult shelter for 18 to 24-year-olds. And this is a gap that has been unfilled for quite some time. A lot of the people in this demographic are aging out of foster care. And if they have no place to go on the street, they can't go to the House of Charity. That's not, or a night by night shelter. It's not a positive, good place for them. But getting them the kind of help that they need, maybe that's just to get their GED or some job training, and really concentrate on that demographic so that we can prevent the next generation of homeless. So we're looking at creating this whole new system that I'm really excited about. We were able to do it in the first 7 months with COVID taking up a great, chunk of our time. So, and that, like I said, housing and homelessness go, they're interconnected.
So true.
And what I get really excited about listening to you, Mayor Woodward, is that you are taking creative approaches. You're thinking outside the box. You're looking at a new division, creating new systems, because what we have been doing doesn't seem sustainable. And so for you to be able to just remove the walls and let's look at everything, I actually get really excited when I hear you talk about that. I really do. Thank you.
Well, I'm not doing this all on my own. I have an
Right.
incredible team. Nobody can do this on their own, and we have great staff here at City Hall. And to be able to really capitalize on their strengths and talents, and again, listen to them. I just didn't create this system. This is something we have a continuum of care, which is a great board that we have regionally that's been working on a 5-year plan to end homelessness. I will tell you, I don't think we're going to end homelessness. I think we have to do a much better job of managing it, but to work in alignment with this continuum of care group that has got all the stakeholders already, and they've been working, but to get some movement on what they want to do, that's what we've been able to concentrate on during COVID. So I'm really, really happy about that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We have about 4 minutes left. Anything, Tanya, do you have anything?
No, I'm excited just to be listening. Exactly the same thing you said, Ken. I mean, it's exciting just to hear you. I know, just to hear it, because you're out there in your forefront and you're really leading this. So I'm excited to be part of this. And just thank you so much for taking this time. And we know you're really busy and leading our city, but thank you so much for taking the opportunity and answering some of our questions during this time that we needed some answers. What's going on?
Yeah, and let me just absolutely thanks for having me. And just let me also say that we've just opened up a new police precinct downtown. It's in the core of downtown, and our officers are now there working. The levy that voters passed in February of last year to increase the number of officers. Many of those new officers will be working out of our new downtown precinct. So the fact that we're even able to get that up and going during COVID too, so that when businesses start fully opening again, we have a safe downtown, and we've got officers on bicycles and on foot patrol. I just think that's going to really help with what we need in our downtown core.
I love it. That's great.
Good, you bet.
Yeah.
Mayor Woodward, if I'm a listener, I'm in the community and I want to participate, I want to maybe help get involved, what's the best way to contact your office for that?
Yep, you can email me at mayor@spokanecity.org. If you have any great ideas about any of the issues that we've talked about today, or anything that's on your mind, how you want to see Spokane improved, and any of the initiatives. My initiatives are, public safety, homelessness, housing, economic development. If you've got any great ideas in any of those areas, I would love to hear from you.
Good, and we will post that email on the show when we put the show out. So people
thank you.
Good. Gosh, well, again, Mayor Woodward, I cannot thank you enough. This is absolutely a highlight of my day, my week, and last week to have you on our show and to be able to listen to you and talk to you. From the bottom of my heart, thank you for being on our show.
Absolutely. This was fun. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Good. Folks, again, our guest, Mayor Nadine Woodward, Spokane, Washington, and Ken Sax, Tanya Tyler, sponsored by Keller Williams in Spokane. Thank you for joining us. And as always, we will see you next time.